All right, let's take a look at number 13. Now, this is a tough problem. It is on your final exam, so we want to start practicing now. Um, and for those of you who are continuing on to calculus, this is a big deal. This is week 1 of Calculus 1. This is part of our definition of the derivative. There you'll have a limit in front of it, but this difference quotient is a big piece of it. And it's actually something that's still hard for a lot of the calculus students. So we're exposing you to it here, hoping that by the time you're in calculus, you'll be a little bit better at it. Okay, so here's our difference quotient. It will be given to you on the final exam, the formula. Okay. So we're going to go substituting in, all the pieces. So I like to put in the easy pieces first. Like it's always going to be over h minus parentheses. F of x is given to us in the directions. It's right here. So I might as well plug that easy part in. All right. Now I think we're going to have to move this guy way over. Okay. All right, so for the first part, for this f of x plus h part, it's pretty much going to be exactly what you see here. But instead of writing x's, you're going to write x plus h's. So I've got my 8, but I'm not going to write an x. I'm going to write an x plus h. And it still has to be squared, just like it was squared over here. Plus 2, and instead of writing x, I'm going to write x plus h. And then plus 1. Okay. So it's the function basically twice, right? We got our 8 something squared plus 2 times that something plus 1. 8 something squared plus 2 times that something plus 1, right? One time it's x plus h's, one time it's x's. Okay. All right, so we got to do some cleaning up. So let's do some things off to the side. For example, the very first thing we're going to have to do is the x plus h squared, because we're using the order of operations, which says exponents has to come before multiplication. So we're going to do x plus h times another x plus h. So x times x is x squared. X times h is hx. H times x is hx. And h times h is h squared. I write them in alphabetical order, so it'll be easier for me to see my like terms. And hx plus another hx means that we have 2hx. All right, so we're going to substitute that in to the numerator. Don't forget that there's an 8, right? Multiplying by that. And I might as well distribute this too. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times h is 2h. And then we're going to distribute this negative sign, changing all of these positive terms into negative terms. Now, before we embark on this, in this class, I'm not guaranteeing this in calculus, but with what I'm going to give you, the h in the denominator should always cancel. And I say that's probably true of most college algebra classes, that the h in the denominator should always cancel. All right, so let's distribute this 8 to those 3 numbers. So 8x squared, 8 times 2 is 16hx, and 8 times 1 is 8. Now, a lot of stuff should hopefully cancel, but it's still going to be ugly. Just warning, this is just going to be ugly. But notice that there's an 8x squared and another minus 8x squared. Notice that there is a positive 2x and a negative 2x. Notice that there is a positive 1 and a negative 1. All right, so, oh, you know what, you guys? I noticed I've made an error right here on copying. Not going to be the last time. So I put this into the problem incorrectly. You guys see that instead of an h squared, I just put a 1. What the heck was I thinking? Okay, so let me make this guy an h squared. Now it's right. All right, so this is actually going to change this 8 right here into an 8h squared. Because when I distribute the 8 all the way to the h squared, I will get an 8h squared. Apologize for the mistake, you guys. Hopefully you could still follow on this one. Okay, so let's see what we have left. We have 16hx. We have 8h squared. We have 2h. And that's it. Yeah, all over H, right? So this is what I mean by the H will always cancel. Every single one of our terms in the numerator has an H in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull an H out. So it'll just be 16x plus 8h to the first now, because I took one of those h's out, plus 2, because I took that h out completely. And here we go. The h in the denominator is going to cancel, which is great news because we said it always will cancel in this class and most of the time in Calc 1 too, most of the time. Okay, so that's going to be our answer for the difference quotient, 16x plus 8h plus 2. Ooh, let's see. All right. It worked. So just the setup is so important. Making sure that you put minus parentheses. Some students forget the parentheses here. And so all the signs on this are wrong because then they wouldn't be distributing a negative and getting all minuses here. So minus parentheses, then write it is important. That you have the same thing twice, but one of them has x plus h's and one of them has x's. That's super important. And then in the end, if your h's don't cancel, like for me, I would have caught my mistake. If this were just an 8 and not an 8h squared, I wouldn't be able to have pulled out the h here. So which means I never would have been able to cancel the h's. So little things like that will help you catch, yourself when you make little silly mistakes like I did, like, oh, I just can't copy something downright, which happens to all of us, okay? All right, so this is a tough one. Don't be upset with yourself if you have to do it a few times. This is something even calculus students struggle with in the first week of school, second week of school. So totally normal, but just stick with it, okay? And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Good luck on number 13.